How private equity turns your favorite channels into slop. We watched a different video about private equity before, but it was about how private equity's just been getting introed into YouTube channels and how it works. I'm probably going to actually just share some knowledge firsthand about private equity and YouTube channels because I've gotten offered from private equity firms to buy parts of my YouTube channel, which will remain unnamed.
Take a look at the YouTube channels that you're subscribed to. There's a good chance at least one of them was quietly sold to private equity. But hold on, how? The creator is still there and the thumbnails look the same, but behind the scenes, the same guys behind Blackstone are now calling the shots for your favorite creator. And unlike an ad read,
and they have infinite money. They have infinite money. These are companies that are coming to YouTubers and going, I want to buy the last 3 years of your video. It's more complex than, I think he's going to actually dive into the logistics of it. And where he maybe doesn't talk about it, I'll share my own experience either way. But like, it's not as simple as like a private equity company is just going, I'm buying Mr. Beast. It's a lot more complex than that.
the creator is under no legal obligation to tell you that the channel quietly changed hands. So really, you actually have no idea whether this channel is bought out too or not. It's not. It turns out it's not slowing down because private equity firms have quietly spent over $4 billion buying YouTube channels. But what's weird is that it's not even really going that great. Early signs are seeing the creators who built the channels walking out, videos starting to slowly suck, and the private equity firm that bought them can't.
All right, well, Kwebbelkop AI. Kwebbelkop AI, I don't know if that has to do with private equity. I think that might just be a miss in the content space in general.
Can't even milk the ad dollars that they were counting on. So then why is private equity continuing to double down? Well, because what they're really paying for is your trust. Trust that doesn't just sell VPNs and mattresses, but trust that can help pick whichever candidate protects private equity's interests. And not only
It is so much more complicated than you, dude, I feel like I need to go on like Paint to like actually like show this. I don't even know, have I ever talked about like my experience with private equity on stream before? I know I watched that video, but I feel like when I watched that video before, I hadn't gotten an offer from private equity yet, and then like I actually got into this shit and it's like horrible. So say this is my oh god. Say this is my channel. This is Joe. This is Joe Main. But I also have a lot of other bubbles. Joe Gaming, Joe Philosophy, Joe VOD. A private equity firm wants to look at your stats at all of these, you know, and they're going to be reading into your audience analytics, your CPM, which is how much money you make per 1,000 views, as well as how frequent you post, and also the analytics on how popular your videos stay like plus 1 to 2 years down the line, because the majority of YouTube videos are going to get like 99% of their views in the first 2 days, or not 2 days, first like 2 months. So they look at all this and they decide they want certain parts of your channel. So me specifically, I did not get an offer for the VOD or Philosophy. Private equity firm came to me and they wanted these two. They wanted my main and my gaming channel. What they originally offered me is as follows. And I'm not going to talk about who this is or, you know, I'm not going to give names or anything, but generally speaking, there was like a few offers they go through. There's 3 types of deals with private equity. The first one, which is generally becoming the most common now, is a 50-50 split, at least from what I've heard in my own experience. Now, what that means is YouTube already takes 50% of your ad revenue. So if a YouTube video makes $1,000, it actually made $2K, but YouTube took $1,000 of that off the top. What this would do is private equity would end up taking out of the $1,000, they would just get, you know, $500. What they do is give you a lump sum of money off of your analytics. So they go, we're going to buy your entire channel's YouTube ad revenue 50-50%, or 50-50 split for like 3 years. So they want 50% of your ad revenue for 3 years, and they'll give you $2 million up front. Now, this seems like a great deal. on surface level, I'm not saying this is actually the numbers that I was offered. I'm just saying realistically, this is like what they're doing. 50-50 rev split. They'll go, we'll give you $2 million and we're going to take your main and your gaming 50-50 rev split. And that's what we want. It's actually not, it's not like 2 million. What the number would actually be is like this: $2,568,000, 472. $2,568,472. Very literal number. Because they're mathing out how much they think you're going to make and how much it's going to take, or how long it's going to take them to recoup the money that they give you. Now, it's actually usually not like a 3-year term. It might be like 18 months. They're going to do like an 18-month term. And if you have to recoup, so they give you $2,568,472, and their cap is $3,124,762. So they're giving you this, right? $2,568,472 on an 18-month term. So that means that they're getting a 50-50 rev split for 18 months unless they get $3,124,762 back. Does that make sense, chat? Yes or no? So they're basically making profit off of you, whereas you get the money up front. So they're giving you a term where, say, you know, your YouTube channel takes a shit and they end up making actually like 2.3 million. They end up losing. You know, if they make 2.3 million on the 50-50 split, meaning your channel's total made 4.6 million in an 18-month term. Say your two channels made $4.6 million, they get 2.3. They lost, you won. That never happens because they're mathing out what you make, and they're doing a lot of genuine like stock analysis on how much they think your channel is going to make. And with certainty, they're pretty sure that you're actually going to recoup this cap money in 9 months. So they'll profit 600 grand on you, whereas you get 2.5 million 12 months early, you know? And so the upside for the creator is, if you're Mr. Beast, you get $100 million up front. Now he can make 15 different videos at once that cost $30 million that he didn't have previously, but he's losing on a smaller percentage that they're making later on. The other thing, which is unconfirmed, is when you do these deals, what actually happens is they take a 50-50 rev split, but you're not getting your, 1 million per month check if you're, balling on YouTube. You're not making your 1 million per month check and then giving them $500K. They're getting your 1 million check and giving you $500K, which brings into question, are they floating your cash? Do you know what floating is? Floating cash, in the best way that I could describe it, is they get your money like a bank would. Banks float cash. That's a lot of how they make money. You give a bank $1 million. That money sits there. Guess what they're doing? They're investing your money. They're taking your money and investing it, making some off the top, and then when you need the money back, they give it back. Right? And they've made money on your money. So that's an argument on whether or not they're doing that. That's less known. That's like an obscure, maybe they're doing that, maybe they're not. But the money goes to them first and you get it secondly, instead of the other way around. The other deal that used to be more common and is no longer common is a backroll deal. I can't type very well with MS Paint. That says backroll. A backroll deal would mean that they're getting none of your new content. So anything from today onwards is 100% yours. They're getting, conversely, 100% of any video from 2023 and before. These deals are getting offered to YouTubers that have a lot of rewatchability. People that you're going back 6 years to watch their shit. I'm not saying they've gotten a deal, but for example, Smosh, Cocomelon, The Outdoor Boys, Markiplier, right? Guys where it's like a lot of their YouTube revenue is from a long time ago. These were like more common, I guess, like, maybe a year or two ago, whenever it became, I guess, more popular. And then it transitioned to this. Another type of deal they do, and sometimes what I ended up negotiating, and I said no to it, is they ended up wanting to do a 70-30. They wanted to give me 70% of my revenue, and I'd give them 30% of my revenue. The way that it mathed out, it was an 18-month deal, and they were going to recoup their money in 12 months. It didn't make sense for me to do it. There's no reason that I would do that, because then they're just making money off of me, because in this 6-month time frame is actually how long it should have taken them to get their money back, meaning they're making, 8% on their investment on you. They're making more on you than they are on the stock market, in that small time frame. The only other common deal, third deal, that I know of specifically is like an 80-20 towards them. So this would be like just private equity. Private equity would be getting 80%, you're getting 20%, but they're giving you 30 mil up front. And the deal is you have to post at least 3 times a week. They're giving you 30 mil, but you still have to post as frequently as you used to. And the way that they get around this is changeable percentages. So most deals are this first one, but a 50-50 deal starts at 50-50, and every month it changes. So and this is how they sneak it in the contract. They give you a 50-50 deal. We need to recoup $3.1 million, say. And the first month, you don't perform. And they get 50% of $100K when you were supposed to make $200K. So then the next month, it looks like this. 63 them, 37 you. So now they're just taking more of your money because they need to recoup their cash. So the way that I saw it, and the reason I didn't take the deal, is because in every instance, they're making money off of you. You're not making money off them, because they're ensuring that they get their fucking money back in the time frame that they want to get it back in. So at least they break even. Now, even if they didn't, like what ended up happening is we kept negotiating, and I was like, this is stupid. Why do I want upfront cash? What am I going to use this for? I'm not fucking Mr. Beast. This is stupid. And it's putting pressure on me to pump out content quickly, when in reality, yes, I have a huge backroll and I post every day, and it wouldn't really change that. It would just put pressure on me to perform for this fucking company I don't give a shit about. So I said no. But what they ended up doing is they wanted to give me like a 70-30 flat, no recouping, but it worked out to be like me making 10 grand on them, or them making like 100 on me. So I was like, I'm not profiting off of this. This is stupid. But that's my instance. More different YouTube channels, like He Flashed Fern or Mr. Beast, have a way more lucrative reason to take that money.
It was 2024 proof of this. It's just the beginning. And so I followed the money across every deal that I could find and mapped out exactly how this works and what will happen in the future. And what I found is that it's looking increasingly likely that private equity is about to take it all for themselves. And if something doesn't change, we won't just lose the platform that we all love, but the last bastion of trust at a time when there's nothing much left to trust.
A private equity deal is a sellout deal. It's a deal that you take when you're done, when it's over. You get upfront cash. If you're a big YouTube channel surpassing 8 million subs plus, you're going to get $8 million, $6 million, $10 million upfront. You're going to finish the contract and quit. So when you see these channels that just start pumping content out like willy-nilly, you're going, they're probably going to be done soon, unless they end up re-upping and taking another deal for more money later on.
So to understand this whole thing, I think the best way is by showing you how a private equity firm even buys a YouTube channel. And I'll show you by being private equity in this demonstration. And once you see how this actually works step by step, you will understand why so many YouTube channels.
If it's a dying channel, fair enough. They're not gonna take a dying channel. There's private equity deals, and I can't list the channels for this, but there's private equity deals that are they're making like 80 mil, 100 mil. Like, it's $100 million deal. Like, they're getting 100 mil for like 15 years of backroll YouTube footage. Like OG YouTube guys that have 30 million subscribers that are just pumping content and still getting views on videos from 2014. Like, those guys are getting deals that are so fucking strong. Oh my God, the other thing that I forgot to say, which he mentioned in the beginning, YouTube wedges ads in my videos. Joe Bart, main, and then gaming. YouTube wedges ads in my deals, right? Or not in my deals. YouTube wedges ads in my videos, of which I get 50-50. The other thing private equity groups do is put their own ads into your videos. So if you have a YouTube audience that they like and they think they could sell to, like my YouTube audience tends to be older skewing, right? So my YouTube audience, even though a lot of you guys are teenagers, tends to be 19 to like 26. That's like prime selling age. You could fucking sell them everything. Maybe even like 30 is actually ideal, because those are the people that are single and have money, is like people in their late 20s, early 30s. So say you sign a deal with them, they're going to have YouTube put ads in your videos, but they're also, instead of like, say you have a YouTube video and this is like how it looks. Actually, let me just show my YouTube studio for this. I've showed how absurd this is as well. Like, I'll show the Etsy video. This is the Etsy video that I posted. These are the ads that are in the Etsy video, right? Hold up. Boom, 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 boom. These are the ads that are in the Etsy videos. I have an ad every, like, 15 minutes. It's a 2 hour and 35 minute video. You're not going to get every one of these. You're going to get, like, 1 out of every 3. This is what YouTube wanted to do. This is automatic ad slots. I go manual. So I'm taking that many ads out of YouTube videos. Number one, YouTube puts that many ads in YouTube videos. By the way, I don't know if you knew that. YouTube puts so many ads in YouTube videos, you got to take them out. What private equity would do is where these ad slots are, like every third ad slot or every random ad slot where they think is most doable, they're going to sell a side deal of ads to like a law firm or some other company or whatever, you know, they want to sell at a higher premium than YouTube will. And they'll put those in your YouTube videos as a way to make money, which in turn does make you more money if you're the YouTuber. Because say they put a Burger King ad, YouTube puts a Burger King ad in, and I make a penny on that, right? I'm getting the full penny, YouTube's getting the other penny. Whereas if you have a private equity firm put you know, an ad in yours, they might sell that ad for 3 pennies. You're getting 1.5 because you have a 50-50 deal, but you're still making more because they're putting more expensive ads in your videos. Fun fact, Joe, YouTube can still play ads even with auto ad breakpoints off. The option just hides it and lowers the odds a little. Yeah, I know. It's just fucked. I remove it because dude, it's even worse on gaming videos, man. Y'all want to see a gaming video ad real quick? Gaming videos are so much worse. Like, this is Horsey Game. I just posted this yesterday. 2 hours and 15 minutes. This is what I did. That's what YouTube did. They wanted you to watch a mid-roll or a pre-roll and then watch a mid-roll a minute in. Removed it. 12 minutes. First ad. So if you watch a pre-roll, you don't even have a chance of getting an ad in my world at 12 minutes. But YouTube will, you know, sometimes wedge ads themselves.
Channels you watch are quietly changing and why nobody had to tell you about it. So let's say I work at a private equity fund, a big fund with this big suit. And the fund I manage is called Blackstone. Actually, scratch that. Subscriber Stone Capital. And anyways, a bunch of wealthy people recently gave me a lot of money. And my job is to buy businesses, make them more valuable, and sell them in the next 5 to 7 years. So with the clock already running, the pressure was already on to deliver. But the problem is, big returns only exist in places that nobody else has risked going to before. And right now, all the obvious targets are taken. Manufacturing, healthcare, logistics, and retail. Because there's been so much private equity activity over the last few years that the big firms have already bought most of it. So as a newer fund manager on the block, I had to find an industry that the big guys haven't figured out yet. And if I wanted to make a name for myself, I was going to have to get creative and lock in. But where would I even start? And so just as I was able to lock in and, you know, put on my favorite playlist, it hit me. The next investment was staring me right in my face. A platform that now has more TV streaming hours than Netflix, a platform called YouTube.com. So over the next...
I'm also going to have to take that YouTube Premium. I've said this before, is the most worth it subscription ever. You get YouTube with no ads. You could download videos. You get YouTube Music. Bro, it is actually the most... Or, yeah, Amazon Prime. Okay, yeah, Amazon Prime because you get... But Amazon Prime is also like a shipping service rather than like an entertainment service.
A few days, I furiously started doing research on my next channel. And after looking through every niche and crevice of this website, I may have just found the one. So let me walk you through how I, as private equity, exactly would identify the perfect fit. So thank you for joining Subscriber Stone Investors. For today's meeting, I have 3 criteria on why we need to invest in this channel. And the first and foremost is this channel has a proof of concept. This channel has predictable revenue every single month from AdSense. And this channel probably has a tiny team. Let's just say probably around 5 to 6 people with low overhead. But this brings me exactly to number 2, which is potential. So as you can see here, this channel has inconsistent views, but it has a loyal audience. So as long as we find the right topics and format, this can be something we can grow into. Third, running out of time, so I'll tell you about it later on in a different meeting. So anyways, even without that third criteria, you can start to see what private equity firms are looking for when they decide what channels to invest in. But here's why we've only seen the beginning of this. Because after crunching the numbers, let's say I found this Gen channel makes, say, $1 million a year. And in any other industry, a business doing $1 million a year with margins like this would cost me a fortune to invest.
Yeah, that's the thing, is like the profit margins of YouTube channels are way higher than of regular businesses. Like a regular business grossing $2 million a year is profiting much less than a YouTube channel grossing $2 million. Because a YouTube channel realistically has like a low investment overhead and also like 2 employees.
Listen, with YouTube channels, I come to find out that they sell to 3 to 5 times their annual earnings. But what I can sell it for is a completely different number. But before I get to that, I had a problem. Because when my boomer boss has never even heard of Mr. Beast, he came from this world of spending $500 million on a single hospital. How was I going to pitch him this opportunity? Now, after some convincing, he reluctantly agreed, but now the pressure was really on. If it helped.
Can you still have sponsors? If so, do you share the money with private equity? Yes and no. You don't share the money in a built-in ad with private equity, but you could still have sponsors. It's the same thing with, it depends on the contract. Private equity would not usually try to reach for that amount of money though. But then you also have like a side thing where like you have management, right? Like my management takes 20% of what I make on ad revenue, right? Like ads they bring me, right? So if I do a fucking Marvel Rivals ad, I make 80% of that because I didn't get that ad myself. But like my YouTube revenue or Twitch revenue, I get 100% of. Now, there are people that sign shitty deals. There are streamers, I'm not going to name them, that get 30% of their actual revenue on Twitch taken out of their paycheck and given to a management company. Like, that's rare, but it does happen because they sign bad contracts.
All goes wrong, I'm cooked. Now my job was on the line.
You seek out ads yourself? No. I have a management I have my management do it. I work with Night Media, and I love what they do, man. Like, I've had the same manager for like 4 years now. Fucking shout out Ben, bro. Great guy. No, I used to search for ads myself back when I did YouTube shit. Now he does it. Now, or not he, everybody on that team does, and then I talk directly to him. But no, they just give you, they go, hey, here's an offer, blank and blank. Do you want to do it? These are the details. You go yes or no, or you talk about it, and then you maybe renegotiate. Do it, don't do it, blah, blah, blah.
And in stress.
Good management companies only take cuts of things that they have involvement in. At direct baked in ads. Merch, like shit like that, because it's like they're hands-on working for you to do that shit.
Maybe this was a dumb idea.
So they should
What
get
am
a cut.
I even doing? I should have just invested in another hospital. But then I remember something a wise man once told me. Just do it! And that's when I realized I had to go all in. Because just buying one channel isn't the play. The play was something much bigger. So I bought 9 more similar channels for a similar price. But here's where the math gets really interesting.
You buy different channels on different ends of the political spectrum or trend marketing, so then you could hedge your bets based on who's in office and who's popular in a given time frame. You buy Asmongold and Hassan. That's the move. Your private equity, you buy Hassan and Asmond. And now you have both ends.
What I do next is to combine all 10 under one company in what's known in the private equity world as a roll-up. And what it unlocks is a few things. One being greater efficiencies, because now the same legal team handles all the contracts.
Longest react of all time, shut up.
Same person negotiates every brand deal, and same thumbnail testing operation, accounting, and compliance. It's exactly what private equity has been doing for years with hospitals, but the biggest unlock is what this now means for me and my investors. Because remember, I bought each channel for 3 to 5 times its earnings. But after this roll up into my portfolio, as a whole, this now sells for 12 to 20 times earnings. So without making any of the channels better, just by buying them, putting them under one roof, the valuation is now 20 times more. It's exactly how I make a shit ton of money, and it's the power of multiple arbitrage. So a few years pass, and now my boomer boss is happy.
It's very rare, though, that they buy the 100% of the channel, because that reduces motivation for the creator to continue making money. You have to give the creator a percentage of their earnings naturally, because otherwise they're not going to continue to pump out quality content, because there's no incentive to, because they already have the paycheck.
20 times more.
They just have to fulfill the minimum contract requirement. So you need to give them a percentage.
How I make a shit ton of money, and it's the power of multiple arbitrage. So a few years pass, and now my boomer boss is happy, and he can't stop bragging to his friends about how much money he's making from this site called youtube.com. The problem is, I still haven't paid back any of my investors. We're at year 4 now, but remember, our fund's investors are expecting returns by year 5 and 7. So the clock was starting to run out. So now it wasn't just about locking in. I have to make money. So now it's all about optimization. That extra day that we used to give to make the videos better are cut. No, we want more videos per week. Let's also optimize content strategy. Those videos that the creator thinks that is interesting, who cares? Those need to be under strict questioning now. Instead, what we need to be doing are videos that are proven to perform. That's the priority. And just like that, similar videos are now starting to get put out week over week. And we're pumping them out like a content factory. And audiences are slowly starting to notice that something is a bit...
Like, some people say Fern sucks now, and because they were bought by like private equity or some shit. I still think Fern's videos are goated. I don't know. Like, I feel like that's one of the, I get a lot of like private equity firms ruin YouTube channels, but I still feel like the Fern like we watched the Fern video yesterday. It was awesome. Or 2 days ago. It was sick.
Off in the comments, but who cares? We're here to make money now, and if I want to maximize profits, I have to eliminate these risks. And the biggest risk is staring right at my face here. Gen here may have been the one that built his channel from the ground up, but if the whole channel depends on just Gen and he burns out or gets sick or decides to leave, this asset stops becoming worth anything. And I can't have that happen. It's what's called the key man risk, and there is no way in hell I'm gonna lose out on my investment because of Gen. So I start hiring new hosts that happen to be slightly more attractive and taller than Gen, and they slowly start getting introduced. And
bro, Veritasium, bruh. Veritasium, bruh. I be watching Veritasium, some random motherfucker pops up on the screen. I'm like, yo, where's the other dude? Where's the other guy? Who the fuck are you?
Now that we have more hosts, we can start launching more channels, like Gen Plus. And since we're now pumping out videos every day, it's too expensive to hire a creative director, so scripts start getting approved by AI to make sure it's brand.
Chat, what are you doing if I go live one day? It's just not me. Same setup, it's just another dude named John. Kind of looks like me.
And friendly, and it's
another celebrating? Okay.
At least good enough to go before filming. And weeks pass, and now the channel slowly becomes something that could keep running without the person who built it. The thing is, comments now really start noticing. And some now even start commenting that this is the last Gen video that they'll watch. But here's the part that matters and why no one has told you about this. The FTC updated their endorsement rules in 2023 that if a creator gets paid to promote a product, they have to tell you, exactly like you see on this video. But if a private...
Bro, motherfuckers don't do that. That's what annoys me the most is like, if I run an ad, I'm letting a motherfucker know it's an ad, you know? I'll say, hey, this is sponsored 15 fucking times just to let you know, you know? And there's still sponsors I work with that I really enjoy and like, but it's like, I'll say it's a sponsor. Bro, the other day, I'm not even gonna say his name, bro. I sent it to my mods. I made a philosophy video about why I don't believe in God, and some dude responded to it, and he responds to it and says the same chess analogy like 4 times. And at the end of the video, he did an undisclosed ad for a company, and I was like, yo, anything you just said in this video is now null and void in my mind because you are a Christian TikToker that just did an undisclosed FTC ad at the end of a response to something I said. Like, I'm not giving it publicity, but I don't like that guy.
Equity firm buys that creator's entire channel.
Like, that annoyed me. Maybe I misinterpreted it, but that shit rubbed me the wrong way.
Even if every video they make going forward is produced inside of...
No, not the pizza shirt guy. The pizza shirt guy is just crazy. that dude, oh my God. Bro, he'll thumbnail a video and it'll be like, why gay people are going to hell. I'll be like, whoa.
Portfolio being managed toward a financial exit, the creator doesn't have to say anything. And that hush hush is exactly what allows any of this to even work. Because here at Subscriber Stone Capital, what I didn't tell you is we do businesses with these creators in two ways. Either we own it outright 100% or a majority stake acquisition of 50 to 80% where the original creator remains. And we actually prefer those deals because now the creator also becomes a shareholder in Subscriber Stone Capital. Okay, but why do we do that? Well, time's up. Sorry. Anyways, well, when their financial interest is now aligned with mine, he or she is going to damn well make sure he's going to
Point I made.
keep cranking out videos. But more importantly, he or she is going to damn well make sure to not tell you, the audience, that he or she was owned by me all along. Because we both know how that will go, right? By aligning our incentives and having stakes in each other's companies, now the creator is handcuffed because at the end of the day, we both want the exit to go well, right? So it seems like I was joking, but the thing is, none of that was even a bit. Like, yeah, Subscriber Stone Capital is fake as shit, but it's similar to what actual private equity firms that bought your favorite channels have been doing for the last 5 years. And a few main players are increasingly driving up all of the deal flow. And it's not just happening to YouTube. The same dynamic is playing out everywhere online. Platforms that seem free are really just collecting everything about you and selling it to whoever will pay, like your inbox, your habits, and your behavior over time. Proton Mail Mall. And look, some of these
Wow. Oh my God, I'm getting so good at that.
names are going to surprise you, but the bigger surprise might be where that money is going and where it's coming from. So we'll be looking at 3 main players and their portfolio, but why not start with the first and the biggest, Electrify Video Partners. Based in London with $135 million raised and backed by another private equity firm called Capital D, they've been buying up a bunch of channels over the last 5 years. And you'll definitely recognize at least one of them. From Fireship, which is a coding education, Simple History, history animation, Improvement Pill, self-improvement, and this one really surprised me, Fern, that amazing documentary channel, but the biggest and most significant one is Veritasium. Ran by Derek Muller, Electrify became the
Yo, he's never in those videos anymore.
majority owner and took over hiring, logistics, compliance, taxes in a deal that allowed Muller to stay on as
Yo, he stayed on probably as a creative lead and also like a behind the scenes director. But like that was more of a bit like you got to realize most of these private equity deals aren't as big as like Veritasium's deal. Like this was more of a buyout than most other private equity deals are. Most PE deals are the ones that I was describing. Like this is probably like they bought, 100% of the channel. He stays on with like a net salary or something as like a creative lead. And this was probably like genuinely $100 million deal.
co-owner on his 20 million subscriber channel.
They would take care of things like hiring, production, logistics.
And this deal was actually announced a few years ago in April 2023. But hold on, take a look at that date. The deal closed in 2023, but he didn't directly tell his audience on YouTube until Christmas Eve of 2025. So why did he wait? Well, I imagine it's because they knew exactly how people would react. Oh, and I say they because he also became a shareholder in Electrify itself.
I signed the
Oh my God, wait, but I can't even be mad at this motherfucker though. Yo, he got a deal. He got a percentage of the private equity firm in a buyout. Like, this guy is actually a genius. Like, he probably made more than his channel would make in his lifetime in this fucking deal. Yeah, he probably made $100 million, genuinely. He probably made $100 million and got like 2% of the company.
deal in April 2023, and since then, Veritasium has been owned and run by me and Electrify.
So obviously his financial interest is also
Wow.
aligned with the firm's eventual exit. But to be fair, it was also a smart business move. By keeping it low key and then going on to create 3 of the channel's most watched videos ever and subscriber counts continuing to grow by 50%, by showing that nothing has changed and then announcing it, there's not much things that an audience could say. And especially if
Yeah, they can't even be mad because if anything, he's pumped out more content that they've enjoyed until finding out that it was owned by another company.
Muller is still there and the videos are still quality, if we look at just the numbers, Electrify did make Veritasium better. So the important nuance here is that private equity takeover of a channel doesn't automatically equal bad, but you know by now that if every deal looked like this, there'd be no video. Because remember what I said earlier about Keyman Risk, which is a perfect transition to our second player, Lunar X, which was specifically launched by former KKR executives to invest in digital-first media brands. And they made a splash onto this scene in 2022.
Wait, Game Theory? Bro, is that why MatPat got out of the biz?
By acquiring The Game Theorist with 40 million plus combined subscribers across their 5 channels. And similar to Veritasium's Derek, the sale was framed as this thing that would let MatPat, the guy who built it, to finally be able to step back.
On March 9th, I will be hosting my last Theory episode.
The deal was that MatPat would handle the creative direction behind the scenes and Lunar X would handle all the boring business stuff. And since...
Wow, so it basically let him to like soft retire and also make a shitload of money.
MatPat has officially stepped away from the camera, on the surface, it actually seems like a success. They gained 1 million new subscribers across all 5 channels, but the revenue tells a different story. Estimated monthly...
Bro, because Game Theory in general was so tied to MatPat, when you click on a fucking Game Theory video and you don't hear MatPat talking, click off. Click off.
Earnings has dropped 70% from roughly 52,000 in March 2024 to around 13,000 to 17,000 by February 2026. So what this tells you is that once the Keyman has removed 17,000 by 52,000, it's a different story. Estimated monthly earnings has dropped 70% from roughly 52,000 in March 2024 to around 13,000 to
Game Theory only makes 50K a month.
17,000 by February.
I know you guys are thinking Joe Bart's only saying only to 50K a month, but this is like a channel with like 25 million subscribers. Like this is a channel, if you had guessed me, if you went, how much does Game Theory make? I would go probably like 8 million a year.
February 2026.
10 million a year.
So what this tells you is that once the
25 million subs, bro.
Keyman has removed himself from camera, the loyal audience also
600K a year. That's not a lot for Game Theory. I gotta look this up. Are they just not getting views anymore? Wow. Oh, they just don't post as much. They still get 1 million views though. What were they at with MatPat? Oh my God. Yo, they literally lost like 80% of their views since MatPat left. Holy shit. They were getting 5 million views a video. Maybe like one on a bad. 7 million, 6 million, 3 million. He fucking leaves. And then it just starts dudding comparably. Like 1 million views is crazy. Like they're still getting more views than I do on my channel. But like they're getting that on one video a week. And it's still like a 70% drop.
Went away with it. Now, it remains to be seen if they will recover, but for some...
What are my YouTube views? I don't be checking like long term. Oh, I do better. Damn, that one got 2.2. What the fuck? 500K, 1.8, 1.2, 700, 900. I think I hover around like 800 on the main. Gaming fluctuates.
Some, they didn't even get that luxury, which leads us to our third and final player, Recurrent Ventures. Oh, and they raised $300 million from our favorite private equity firm, Blackstone. And their portfolio is huge, from Task and Purpose to even Popular Science, but their most important acquisition is Donut Media. Founded in 2015, these 4 guys built a cult following around automotive content with their 5.8 million subscriber channel. And so it's no surprise that Recurrent Ventures was all over this to acquire Donut, and they successfully did so in November 2021. And the big promise that they made here was that all founding staff would remain, but that soon changed. After securing that sweet $300 million funding from Blackstone, Recurrent started moving different. They overhired across the portfolio, attempted to squeeze
300 million
more revenue from product reviews, and when the economics deteriorated, they started to cut costs. And even though raw subscriber count continued
Oh my God, I'm such a chud on the YouTube scale. I was not getting offered anywhere near that, bro. $300 million?
grow
I mean, they give me a good offer, but like, bro, 300 mil?
8 million by 2024.
What the fuck?
What didn't, and sounds a little bit corny, was that magic that made them great. Less than 3 years after acquisition, 3 of the 4 guys all departed within weeks of each other, and so
Yeah, but that one guy still makes his own videos. We watch them.
did the audience. Because 2 of the hosts launched their own independent channels,
Yeah.
Big Time and Speed, and just
I love Speed. Speed is such a good channel.
independent channels, Big Time and Speed, and just within a matter of weeks, crossed 1.6 million combined subscribers. So with all these different outcomes, and right now it's showing more bad than good ones, what's interesting to see though is that private equity money keeps flowing and flowing. And when you look at the channels that they're targeting, it starts to kind of make sense. Take a look at that acquisition map again. Veritasium, Fireship, Economics Explained, these are all channels aimed at educated adults in high value niches like finance, education, and science.
Because they spend so much money.
And this matters a lot because a regular TV ad around these niches costs around $10 to $15 to reach 1,000 people. But with YouTube, in one of these niches, it can cost.
Yo, literally the guy that makes the most money in my mind is Linus Tech Tips. That guy's CPM is Brady here. Brady, what do you think? What do you think Linus Tech Tips CPM is? That shit, like those tech channels, like Linus Tech Tips or what's the other guy? Oh my God. They did a full breakdown. Oh, they showed how much they make.
$50 per thousand. And again, it goes back to advertisers not just paying for impressions.
Majority of the money doesn't even come from YouTube anymore. Yeah, bro. No, not Mr. Who's the Boss. Not Carter PCs. Oh my God, Marcus Brownlee.
But they're paying for that trust. It's the same reason that Subscriber Stone Capital would go after a channel like Gen, because if I had to guess, you watching probably have more disposable income than someone regularly watching Sloptainment or kid channels. But turns out,
yeah, Mr. Beast has like the Doom Squad audience for selling shit.
and that is changing.
That's why he's in the chocolate business. He's a chocolatier.
Because one of the biggest deals in this entire space that I haven't even talked about yet has nothing to do with educated adults. It has everything to do with toddlers. If you have kids or for some reason watch this show, which is kind of weird, you know exactly what this is. But also, it's probably more weird that you've never heard of them, considering that they're the second most subscribed YouTube channel on earth with 120 million subscribers. But in November 2021, Candle Media, run by former Disney executives and backed again by Blackstone, acquired CoComelon's parent company for $3 billion.
I'm gonna start punching my drywall. Yo, why am I getting? I make good money. Why am I getting jealous? Why am I getting jealous? No, see, this is the greed. This is the greed of humanity. I shouldn't care. I make good money. Why am I fucking annoyed? That's just crazy. I don't even think my channel should be getting $3 billion.
And what they built,
Millionaire gets mad. Bro, I'm not saying like, oh, I need $3 billion. I'm just like, why is CoComelon getting $3 billion?
but that money is a system that literally tracks second by second.
You're losing out on gambling ads. I do DraftKings ads. If I did like a stake deal, oh my God, I would make so much money.
When a toddler
I would never do it. I would make so much money.
stops paying attention.
I'm so serious. I would never do it. I would never do a stake deal. But if I like sold out and just like moved to Kick and just started rolling fucking slots, I genuinely think I would make 20 million in 6 months.
In their
Like,
videos.
I think they would pay me so much money. Why? Because it's just fucking so lucrative, dude. To get on, maybe not 20 million. That would be way over the top. But I think like I could bring so many people over. Chat, I'm so serious. Tomorrow, I would never do this. But if tomorrow I was like, I'm moving to Kick and I'm going to start gambling, yeah, I'd lose half my audience. Yo, half of you guys would be like, fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. And you're just going to watch Joe spin slots for fucking 20 hours straight on Adderall. Like,
And my favorite
if CS gambling site offered, would you consider? I don't know. I would have to look into like the regulatory. Nah, I don't know. I do sports betting. Like, I'll do sports betting ads. I don't like I've done poker ads. It's just weird when you get into like CS roll. Any offshore gambling company, no. Roobet, no. Rainbet, no. Stake, no. Fuck no.
figuring out the exact moment a 2-year-old
Use Kalshi. I did a Kalshi ad back in the election.
looks away, they can engineer every video onwards to make sure that never happens again. So point is, it's not just channels for adults. Private equity is increasingly reaching the youngest audiences who know nothing other than to press play on their damn iPad. Because as long as those kids keep watching and begging their parents to buy the latest merch or game, that's all the return on investment anyone needs. And the thing is, every deal that I've showed you so far are only the ones that we know about. And when collective investment into YouTube channels have now reached $4 million, there's probably a lot more that we don't. Like again, maybe this channel. But before I reveal that truth, we have to talk about what
Collective investments on YouTube channels reaches 4 billion, 3 billion of which just goes straight to Cocomelon.
all this actually means. Because everything I've talked about isn't just about entertainment getting worse or bought out. Matter of fact, all this even goes beyond money. This means controlling what the next generation believes and how our future is already getting manipulated. And if you think that's hyperbolic, think again, because we already saw what creator trust can do when it's pointed at politics. During the 2024 election, Trump sat down with Joe Rogan, Aiden Ross, the Nelk Boys, Theo Vaughn, and dozens of creators most boomers and big heads that traditional media has never heard about.
I always wonder if they got paid. Like, I think it's just a good stream view-wise for them, but I don't see it, like, I don't see a world where Full Send didn't get paid to have fucking Benjamin Netanyahu on their podcast. Like, what a weird why? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that, okay, maybe, yeah, Full Send gets Trump on, and they're not getting paid. They just fuck with Trump. But, like, that's just, like, that seems so outlandish where it's like, no, they had to get paid.
President Trump back on the podcast.
We're back. I'll say that to the Nelk Boys.
It's our last chance.
If she wins, the country's finished.
His appearance on Rogan alone pulled nearly 38 million YouTube views within hours, and during his victory speech, Dana White got on stage and thanked content creators by name.
I want to thank the Nelk Boys, Aiden Ross, Theo Vaughn, and last but not least, the mighty and powerful Joe Rogan.
Among listeners who said podcasts influenced their vote, 54% went for Trump. But where I'm going with this is here's where it gets uncomfortable. Private equity acquired channels already are being told to change content to be safer because controversy scares it.
Do not let me change. Yo, think if I give a political take that you fuck with, that's fine. But, like, don't listen to an influencer on who to vote for. Like, that's the take I'm gonna have. I don't think, like, I'm not, obviously, I would be like, oh yeah, I would fuck with people agreeing with my political take because it's like, obviously, I think I'm right. But, like, I don't want you to be like, oh, I'm only doing this because Joe said so. That's fucking weird.
Advertisers and their portfolio managers. So if that's already happening, what's stopping a private equity firm from acquiring political commentary channels and steering their editorial direction towards candidates who would pass laws that benefit the firm's other investments? Because the thing is, there's currently no rules against it. And right now,
Oh, I gotta sneeze.
an influencer is cheaper to acquire than some mainstream news network. Plus, the audience trusts them more. And like we established, when a creator doesn't have to disclose what private equity firm they're owned by, it really becomes a no-brainer on both sides. And so remember that third criteria I mentioned in the subscriber stone investor meeting? That third criteria I'm sure private equity firms consider is how much the channel values money over principles. Because I can tell you from experience, I've gotten offers for this channel that I can't fully disclose. But what I can tell you is that when those conversations
Shit, was I not supposed to talk about that? Nah, I don't care.
happen, the first thing that
I didn't say any names.
gets discussed is the sort and list of topics that you're not allowed to touch.
Ooh. I gotta make a quick. Is it bad if I talked about...
Anymore. So really think about where all this is heading. We stopped trusting the banks after 2008. We stopped trusting
I signed a lot of contracts. I forget which ones.
the government a long time ago, hopefully, and you
Ben goes, I need you to sign this while I'm taking a piss.
stop trusting mainstream media. And now it's pretty undeniable that that trust has been transferred to your favorite YouTuber like myself. But at the same
God, did I sign an NDA? It doesn't matter if I didn't mention the company.
time, when 80% say that the biggest trust killer is when influencers reveal themselves as not genuine or transparent, unlike the other institutions we named that lost trust slowly over decades, this relationship is something that can break overnight. And what we're now beginning to see is that it's not just private
I was never actually offered a deal. This was all fabricated.
equity, but the largest companies is making their way into one of the last institutions that people sort of trust. As I was finishing this video, OpenAI just bought TBPN, a live stream talk show that's like the sports center of the tech industry.
Yo, OpenAI bought this podcast, or maybe not TBPN. OpenAI bought like a few podcasts that actually get like 1,000 views a video.
A core
And it's like the worst investment ever.
part of this is editorial independence. We can say
TBPN, let me look it up. OpenAI bought this podcast. Wish I had a soundboard. Play a fart noise. Or that donk. Donk. OpenAI bought this. 2.1K views. Donk. $100 million buyout. Donk. What are they getting all their views on? Spotify? Jesus Christ.
whatever we want because we're live and we don't need to run anything through anyone.
Well, we'll see about that. But when reports are saying that the deal was somewhere near $100 million, we'll see how much independence that truly means. So whether this is the beginning of the end, one thing is for certain. Within the next 10 to 15 years, a major influencer is going to run for president and he or she is going to win. And when that happens, the question
Mr. Beast.
won't be whether they're qualified. The question you need to think about is who owns them. And so I'll be going even.
I'm so serious. Mr. Beast will run for president. I see a world where Mr. Beast... How old is Jimmy? He's 27. If Mr. Beast is popular in 8 years... I see a world where Jimmy runs. No way Jimmy is 27 years old. Mr. Beast's birthday. Bro, what? Mr. Beast is younger than Chris. And Zeusy. And Sneeg. And Ludwig. I could just keep naming people in their 30s. And Squeaks. And anybody over 30. And Michael Reeves. Michael Reeves looks really young. Michael Reeves is 28, yeah. Michael Reeves looks like he could be 25. That was a fucking great video, though. Dude, Gen makes awesome content, genuinely. You're friends with some unks? I always had friends that were older than me. I was always the youngest person in my friend group.